Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations Over Cars. My name's Tim Winkler. I'm the president and CEO here at VIP Tires and Service. Today, I'm in Mexico, Maine, and we're going to be talking to Ryan Smitty Smith. And today, we're talking all about batteries. We're talking about why the battery health in your vehicle is so important. We're going to talk about how to check your battery. We're going to talk about jump starting your battery in case it dies. We're even going to take a look at a vehicle where the battery's not under the hood. And where do you look if you need to go find your battery and you can't find it in its normal place where you might think it's under the hood? So let's take a walk in here and let's go meet Smitty. All right, so we are here in VIP in Mexico, Maine, and this is Ryan Smith. Smitty, how you doing, Smitty?
Doing all right, yourself?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
So thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
Before we start talking about batteries, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How long you been turning wrenches? How'd you get started in it?
Well, ultimately, I started turning a wrench when I was really young because my dad's always turned a wrench.
Yeah.
Small engine stuff back in the day. But,
Tearing apart lawnmowers and
Oh,
stuff?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been turning a wrench on cars for like 21 years now.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So, enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of a hobby, really.
Yeah.
So.
You can't do it that long if you don't love what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I'd be doing anyway. So.
Yeah, that's right. Good. So what was your first car?
First car was a '89 Ford Escort Pony.
Ford Escort Pony?
Yeah, with a 4-speed. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, how
Love
many
that
horse did that have?
Not a lot.
No. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
but
not a lot. 16 years old, it was a good car.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And what are you driving these days?
I've got a 03 F250 diesel.
F-250
Yeah.
diesel. Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of power.
Yeah, a little more power than the old Escort.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about some batteries and battery systems and charging systems, I guess.
Awesome. Yep, battery, starter, we got connections, and we're even going to show people some of the tricks of jump starting their battery, right?
Correct. Yep.
Good.
So things. Yep.
So let's take a look at this one. What do we got going on over here?
So what we've got here is this is a replacement battery here. It's a Walmart battery, so happens to be. Shows you the date that this battery here was made, was one of 20. So it's not that old of a battery.
So that's January, right?
Yeah.
January 2020.
January 20, yep.
Yep. Okay.
And then also on batteries, you're also going to find the cold cranking amps and the rating of them. This one's a 550 cold cranking amp battery.
Okay.
That's the capacity of that battery.
So let's talk about that for a minute. So different vehicles require different amounts of cold cranking units.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. This is just a 4-cylinder car here, so this one doesn't require a whole
Right.
ton.
Right.
Whereas if, say, my diesel out there, it requires quite a bit more, probably 850 cold cranking amp battery.
So when people are looking to buy a battery, that's also important too, because you don't want to buy a battery that's underpowered for your car, even
Correct.
though it may be the same size.
Right.
Right.
It may work okay at first, but you're putting a lot of stress on that battery because it's just not rated for it.
So it's just not going to last very long.
Correct. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So, and what else? What's this plus sign there mean?
So this is the positive side, ultimately, and this one here actually doesn't show, but a lot of times they'll be red. The cables coming into it will be red. I mean, this has got the positive sign there.
Yeah.
And also you'll find on the batteries themselves, like you can see the negative on that one there. This one here is kind of covered up. You can't really see the positive on the battery itself, but typically they all will show similar to that.
Yeah, and they've solved for that by putting the red positive on top of the plastic cover.
Yeah, pretty foolproof right there.
Yep.
So, yep.
This one looks like. So is this a one that you can fill water
Yes.
into it?
Yes, that would be.
Because there's some that are maintenance free, and then some
Correct.
that you can't add water, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
How would somebody know, looking at a battery, whether it's a maintenance free battery or whether they should check the water?
So a lot of times you'll see the caps like this, maybe not necessarily in this fashion, but a lot of times if it's a sealed up battery, then it's a
Top's probably all flat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Without any caps to pop off there. So
Okay.
definitely don't want to be popping that off, if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and so I get in my car, I go to start it, right? I turn the ignition. What's the typical sign of a dead battery? Is it clicking? Is it doing nothing? Does my radio work? What do we typically see?
So you may have, some lights on the dash that may come on.
Okay.
Or you may see dim lights, come on.
Okay.
But definitely, if you're getting in there and you're just hearing like a click, 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 then I would say more than likely it's a battery issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also want to be mindful that your cables, your connections, you want to make sure that they're not loose, because that could also send you in the wrong direction.
Yep.
So
Loose or corroded, right?
corroded. Definitely want to be clean, and you want to make sure that there's no debris, dirt on the top. To drain a battery down, or a lot of dirt. Make sure that your batteries are clean.
Yeah.
Internals for sure. The best way would be to obviously take them off and clean them with a wire brush.
Yeah.
Some solvent, hot water.
When I was a kid, it used to pour Coke.
Yep.
Acid, I guess, in the Coke.
Yep.
Starts to react with all that corrosion, right?
Yep.
So,
these ones look pretty good on here.
Yeah.
Somebody's put the protectors on this side here. I don't think they're on that side there, but it's in good shape.
So car comes in with a no start condition, and so it could be the battery. What else could possibly be causing a no start condition
You
like
could
that?
have a starter issue.
Starter
Starter could give you a click noise as well if the starter's not engaging.
Okay.
So you would have to determine that. The first thing I would do would be to test the battery.
Right.
See what the voltage is on that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a good battery, if you can validate your battery's got power,
Right.
then now you're chasing something else.
Correct.
Is there a loose connection? Is there a starter motor or something like that? Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And that's the other thing is, what do we do every time people bring a car in here for any kind of service, right?
We test the battery.
Test the battery.
Test the battery. We give them a printout. And especially if they're having an issue, we'll go a little above and beyond, and we'll test the charging system as well.
Yeah.
We have a capability to do that too. So we can tell them what the output of the battery is and the output of the alternator.
Yep.
Which tells a lot.
Yeah. And output of the battery, in other words, they may have put a brand new battery like this in with 550 volt cranking amps. A year or two down the road, it's not going to be producing that same 550.
Right. Right.
It may produce 520, 510.
Correct. Because temperature does play a factor with batteries.
Okay.
Cold weather, but also on the other end of it, which maybe not a lot of people know, the heat will also cause issues with the battery. Because it can boil.
Yeah.
So the best way is if you could park your vehicle inside. If you have convenience in a garage on a really hot day. Because batteries like to be at room temperature.
Okay.
Ideally, that
They don't like hot. They don't like cold.
They don't, right? They're temperamental, but obviously,
they're like snowbirds.
Living near Maine, you get the best of both. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's another factor, really. Yep.
And so you said batteries don't like heat. Heat tends to reduce the life of a battery, right? 'Cause it's kind of cooking. It's at a higher temperature than it wants to be.
Yep.
We, though, up here in northern New England, see more battery failures in the cold.
Yes.
Is that because the engine's just harder to start and the battery has to work harder? Why do we see so many in the cold?
Right. The battery definitely does have to work harder on a colder day.
Okay.
You're turning over an engine that's really cold and everything. So if the battery's getting down and weak, you could have a dead cell, a weak cell in the battery itself.
Okay.
Which would ultimately definitely drain the battery down.
Okay.
And,
So even with a bad cell, it may start on a normal temperature day.
right.
Now all of a
Correct.
sudden you're at 20 degrees.
Yep. And you're having issues.
Yeah, because it just doesn't have enough power.
And you may notice slowly, go to start it one day and it's cranking over a little slower than normal.
Okay.
And that's another indication.
Yeah. Get it tested.
Absolutely.
All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about jump starting.
All right.
People have a dead battery. They're on their own, either at home, maybe on the side of a road. They get somebody to come help them. What do we got to think about if we got to jump start a battery?
So obviously you need some jumper cables.
Yep.
So that's the first step there. So what you ultimately would want to do, probably move down here.
Yeah,
to,
let's go take a look over here.
We've got some jumper cables here on the floor. This is a normal set of jumper cables. You've got your positive and negative, red and black.
Red's always positive.
Absolutely. So what we've done here is we're going to use this battery that's on the floor, and we're going to say that that's our good vehicle.
So we're going to pretend today, while we show how to hook up and jump start a battery in this Jeep, we're going to pretend that that is a vehicle that's helping us out. This Jeep's battery's dead, and we've got a good battery over here in a good vehicle, and that's going to be our power source to get this vehicle up and running again and get this battery jumped.
So the vehicle we were just at had the battery that was actually under the hood. This particular vehicle, it's a Grand Cherokee. This battery is actually located under the passenger seat. So what you're going to find when you pop the hood is something a little different. You're going to find you've got a positive post here. You can actually see on this one here, it shows. So if you're going to boost, you would want to put your positive or your red cable on here. And then over here, if you were to pop this off, is where your negative clamp would go. So just a little bit different. You know, some vehicles that you will see have this setup, and batteries are not always under the hood. I've seen some in the trunk, under driver or passenger seat. I've seen them under rear seats. It really depends on what you're working on. So to boost a vehicle, you would want to ultimately, I'm going to have Tim hold those right there. So what we would do, if this is our good vehicle here that we're going to boost from, you would want to take your red onto the positive, the black onto the negative, always keeping the other two away from each other. You would connect the red onto positive there, and then the black onto there. Now, with this vehicle, it's not so crucial because the terminals are here. The vehicle we were just at, where the battery is actually under the hood, you would not use this black terminal. You would not connect it to the battery itself. You would find an alternate ground, say, you know, like maybe that stud right there sticking out, you know, an alternator bracket, something close by, but you would not want to connect it right to the battery negative due to spark. You know, you're going to get a little bit of a spark because we are ultimately hooked up to a battery that is good or a vehicle that is good. So you always want to be mindful of that.
So just to summarize there, Smitty, negative on the vehicle being jumped doesn't go on the battery.
Correct.
Goes on a metal,
A good ground source.
good ground source.
Correct.
Which
Yes.
is typically something metal,
Yep.
a bolt, something under
something close by. I mean, obviously you've got very, you know, limited cable length there. So what I failed to say was both vehicles obviously need to be off, and usually I take the keys out of both, just as
to be
habit.
safe.
Obviously the dead vehicle wouldn't be running anyways. So then you would connect your clamps. So after we've got the clamps connected, your vehicle that has the good battery, you would start up and typically let it run for a little bit to charge, give a little bit of juice to the battery that's actually dead.
So even before the dead battery car is running, there's already juice flowing from the good vehicle, into the bad battery.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And then once you start the other vehicle up, ultimately what that's doing is you're getting a little more battery power because the other vehicle is charging. Typical battery is like 12.6, and then the charging system, normal operating charging system, is somewhere around 14.1 volts. So you're getting that extra into the vehicle that's dead. So after you let that run for a little bit, then it would be time to get in the vehicle that was dead and start it up. And normally what I will do is I will leave the cables on just for a little bit to let it charge.
Minute or two.
Yep. And
Okay.
then you basically reverse the order in which you put the cables on. So take the negative, positive off of the dead vehicle, and Then you would do the same also down here on your good vehicle. And then, especially if the battery was completely dead on this vehicle, I would recommend probably a road test to charge the battery up, and then test the charging system, test the battery. You know, maybe it's just a case of somebody left the lights on, you know, so the battery just got worn down.
Right.
It could be that the battery is on its way out and it needs to be replaced. So
Yeah.
you put the tester on there, and it's going to tell you.
You mentioned charging systems earlier too. We don't have time to get into it on this video. Maybe that's a future video, but
Absolutely.
it could be the battery's going dead because there's an alternator that's not charging.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Alternator could be failing. Could be intermittent. You know, it could be at different RPMs. The regulator. There's all sorts of different, you know, issues that could be happening there. So,
Which is why we bring our vehicles to experts like you to figure
absolutely,
it
absolutely, we will take great care of it.
out. That's awesome.
That's right.
So, okay, well, here we are from Mexico, Maine at VIP Tires and Service with Smitty, our ASE Master Technician, and we're going to sign off. Hopefully we've answered all your questions about batteries, charging systems, starting systems, and how to jumpstart your car. If you have any questions, though, fill up that comment box. Colleen will get all those questions over here to Smitty, and we'll get answers back to you on Facebook. And we will see you on the next episode of Conversations Over Cars. Thank you.